Hey y'all, I am delayed on this. Y'all were supposed to get this story a month and a half ago, so let's hop into it. My life is wild. From living in LA and dealing with A minus, B plus, and C list celebrities, to briefly being related to the Kardashians, from having Carl Thomas pop in on one of my parties. Like, weird stuff happens to me. This story is titled That Moment When Lloyd Sang to Me, but it's really about chocolate cake. Here we go. It was Detroit. It was the summer. Which summer? I can't clearly remember. But the cool thing was there was this new spot on Woodward Avenue. Woodward Avenue is a very massive main street that can take you from the city all the way out to the suburbs. And I can't remember the name of the restaurant because it doesn't even exist anymore. But one of my good friends, he's a photographer, and he's like, well, I got a shoot to do, so why don't you come along with me? I'm like, cool, whatever. So, I do my thing. Detroit women get dressed up differently than anybody else. I mean, it's not often y'all hear me talk about the Detroit within me because I was born in Houston, so I'm a Detroit Texan at the end of the day. But I, put on my jeans with some heels. I think they were, Fanolo Blahnik Timberland heels that I probably got from Payless, but I was stunting in them. I had on some cute top, a few accessories. I don't wear a lot of makeup because luckily my skin tone is even. So I can put on eyeliner, a little bit of eyeshadow, and some lipstick, and my face looks, like it's been spanked. Again, I don't know how to do a full beating. Excuse me. So, the cough, my bad. Carrying on. We get there, the vibe is nice. I'm in my early 20s. This is more so a 25 and up kind of vibe. But I'm an old head at heart. I'm like, this is dope. This has got a lounge feel. The interior was very sultry. There was a restaurant as well as an area where you can dance and live mic, open mic moments. Real dope, and it was in the Campus Martius area, which at the time was just starting to develop. All right, I have something to eat. Don't remember what it is. Then the lady comes back and she's like, yeah, would you like dessert? Oh, freaking course I would. I'm 22 years old. My body will snap back like that after anything I eat. She brings out a tray with, I'm going to assume, petrified displays of the desserts. Perhaps I was wrong. It's not important. There was like a pudding, there's something in a container, some ice cream. Then it was that. It was that chocolate cake. This chocolate cake was 3 layers of seduction in one's mouth. There was mousse, there was fondant, there was a nice confectionery like gold glaze. It had fudge in it. Who does that? I'm like, that. I want that one. I want that one. I don't know if it was named Ultimate Crackhead Brownie or Slap Your Mama Molasses in this cake. I don't know what the name was. I just knew I had to have it. Well, I order it, and then my boy comes and he's like, oh yeah, by the way, it's supposed to be a live performance tonight. It's Lloyd. I'm like, Lloyd? Because, I got food in my mouth still. So he's like, yeah, why don't you go ahead and move up to like the front area so that you can, be close when he's performing. That sounds good in theory, but this lady has brought this cake to me and like it's wafting. It's wafting. I want to eat this cake. I don't want to be in front of him while he's saying, yeah, this shorty, digging into a piece of cake. All right, she brings the cake out. It's sitting there. It smells like what payday smells like when you ain't got no debt. It smells like perfect credit score. It smells like 2 for 1 on them things that you've been saving money up for. Sounds like the perfection that you could imagine. So I grab my fork. I say my grace. I put it into the cake. It just dips in. It just sinks in. I'm like, oh my God, bless his moisture name, because this cake is about to be right. I get one good little scoop and put the fork in my mouth, and then you hear, ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage, and I'm like, oh, snap, crackle, and pop. It's about to go down. So I'm sitting with my back to the stage. I keep the fork in my mouth. I get out of my booth, and I slide over to the other seat so that I can watch. I'm still chewing cake. They say Lloyd, the girls are screaming because we girls. The dudes is clapping. They was really there just because they girls wanted to see Lloyd and see if his braids was as long and illustrious as they looked on the album. Excuse me. And he's singing or whatever. And I'm jamming, and we making eye contact. He doing his thing. I'm just cutting into this cake because I want to marry this cake. I want this cake to be my man. I want to pay all your bills, cake. Don't withhold from me. Let's have children. So I'm eating this cake, and Lloyd is jamming, and he finally make his way over and is like, motioning for me like, come on, pretty girl, drop the cake. In my heart, I'm like, ooh, I get to like have a moment with Lloyd, but in my brain it's like, after this cake. And my stomach is like, after this cake. Didn't work out that way. I get on up, I grab a hand with him. Oddly enough, it was Get It Shorty that we were dancing to. We danced for a moment, he sang that to me, and he turned me around and thought I was gonna like sit down. I beeline my ass right back to my table to finish that cake. Not too long after that, that place closed down. That cake has been on my mind for multiple years. I don't even think I was married just yet when that cake was in my life. Like, I ain't even married now. I done went through a marriage and a divorce, and that cake is still on my mind more than my ex-husband. That tells you something. But again, this is about Lloyd and how he sang to me. Bye, y'all.